Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Swimingland East Region Festival of Swimming 2021, live here at the London Aquatics Centre, Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park, Stratford, London. And what a day to be competing in some absolutely fantastic events. Yesterday saw many medals won, many PBs from individuals, and some absolutely ecstatic races, certainly keeping myself on the edge of one seat. I don't know about you at home or in the stands, but today in session number 10 we have the men's 200 meters freestyle. That will go quicker than you think, I do believe. The women's 50 meters backstroke, that will certainly go like a flash, and the 100 meters butterfly for the men. That's going to be a tough one for this session, but it gives me great pleasure to welcome onto poolside some of our honoured guests. We have with us the President of Swimingland, Ian Mackenzie. He's joined by his wife, Sheila, on the poolside. Paul Kendall is the President of Swimingland East Region. And let me introduce to you our absolutely fantastic team of officials and volunteers who give up their time so sparingly, and it truly is appreciated. The lead referee for session number 10 of the Festival of Swimming is Stuart Murray. Our poolside referees are Jonathan Chan and Louise Mackey. Our control room referee is Alan Thurlow, and our starter for today's session is Jerry Metcalf. We will be getting proceedings underway shortly, but if you've missed any of the action and you want to catch up, swimmers, rewatch your race, parents, feel the nerves, the anxiety, but hopefully the pleasure after watching that successful race, you can do so via the Swimingland East Region YouTube channel. And of course, you can stay up to date with all the results from this weekend and the last, and of course the heat sheets, by going onto the Swimingland East Region Twitter page and clicking on Sports Systems there. So moving on to the first event of this morning, event 411, the men's 12 years and over 200 meters freestyle. This will be swum over 13 heats. Heat 1, referee. And it would seem that the first event of this morning, heat number 1 of the 200 meters freestyle, is going to be an incredibly close one here. All of the swimmers in and around, well, on about 2:42.80. But in lane number 3, we have Jeremy Godwin of Thurrock, lane 4, Charlie Plume of Harlow Penguins, and in lane number 5, Harry Bird of Putteridge. Both Jeremy and Harry's times are 2:42.80. Charlie is just in front by 0.07 with a 2:42.73. So this certainly shall be one to watch. At the turn then, it is Jeremy leading the way with a 1:15.48. Harry Bird in second and Charlie Plume in third. Coming into the closing stages of the first heat of the 200 meters freestyle, it does look like Harry Bird is going to be much further away than one would have thought looking at the heat sheet, and he's going to touch 2:34.57. Charlie Plume in second. Oh, goodness me, and a 0.02 between him and Jeremy Godwin. Not much in it there, but all of those boys getting personal best, so congratulations to them, and what an absolutely fantastic way to start the day. Moving on then to heat number 2, referee. In lane number 0, we have Cooper Smith of Harlow Penguins. Emmanuel Kubelis of Team Luton goes in 1. Daniel Andrews of Housegate in 2. Lane number 3 is Will Riley of Team Ipswich. Zach Fellows of Cheshunt goes in lane 4. Amir Okan of Thurrock in 5. Lane number 6 is Charlie Rios of the City of Peterborough. Oshan Okanendu of Thurrock goes in lane number 7. And in lane 8, Ethan Thorpe of Basildon and Phoenix, of whom is quite out in front, quite significantly in fact, as he's going to be turning first on a 1:10.94 over 4 seconds, well, just under 4 seconds between himself and Will Riley, who is in second, and Zach Fellows in lane number 4 is in third at this moment. And Will Riley coming out from the back there, taking first, 2:29.07. Ethan Thorpe in second, and Zach Fellows in third. Moving on then to heat number 3, referee. In lane 0 from Norwich Swan, we have Oscar Hunter. Lane number 1 is Toby Lashmar of Basildon and Phoenix. Colchester, Sir Harrison Brooke goes in 2. Lane number 3 is Harry Alexander of Team Ipswich. Adam O'Neill of Modernians goes in lane 4. Lane 5 is Jude Gunner of St. Felix School. Orlando Deering of the City of Peterborough goes in 6. Louis Robson of the City of St Albans in lane 7. Lane 8 is Ollie Fenwick of Verulam, and in lane number 9, Jamie Wilson of Wisbech. But quite a substantial lead here, starting to grow by Orlando Deering of the City of Peterborough. Now, he has been on the heat sheet for the vast majority of the men's events, and he's been doing quite well over this competition series. So, no doubt that he's tired, but he's still gone a 104.46. His time to beat is going to be a 2:32.61. Jude Gunners in second. Harrison Brooke in third. Louis Robson joins him in fourth. But still leading the way, still looking like he's going quite strong here, is Orlando Deering of the City of Peterborough. No doubt that this isn't his final event of the Festival of Swimming 2021, but he's still going incredibly strong. Comes on to his final 50 metres, 141.67. Jude Gunner, he's been on the heat sheet quite a number of times over this series as well. He's in second. Harrison Brooke in third, with Harry Alexander in fourth. But it is Orlando Deering of the City of Peterborough who really is starting to move here. That pace has significantly changed from the start, but he's coming in now to his final 10 metres. As I said, his time to beat, 2:32.61. Final few strokes from him, and he's smashed that absolutely out of the park with a 2:16.75. Jude Gunner racing into the finish there, second position, 2:23.74, and Harrison Brooke in third with a 2:27.48. Heat number 4, referee. On to heat number 4 then. In lane 0 we have Albert Orley of Braintree. Lane 1, Ryan Close of Biggleswade. Lane 2 is Remy Mason Keane of the Borough of Southend. Ollie O'Connor of Putteridge goes in 3. George Prince of Hatfield in 4. Lane number 5 is Jamie Comerty of Basildon and Phoenix. Sean Connolly of Epping Forest goes in 6. Lane number 7 is Joshua Sackery of the City of Peterborough. Lane 8, Evan Lath of Southend. And in lane number 9, Ben Humphreys of Morden Shark. Ollie O'Connor and Joshua Zachary, two names of which we have seen on the heat sheet many times over the weekend. And if one racks their memory, they have been leading the way for most of those events of which they've been competing in. So hardly a surprise that they're leading the way here. Ollie O'Connor of Putteridge in lane number 3. He is the faster seed out of the two of them. Joshua Zachary, though, he has impressed over the weekend, so no doubt he has more left in the tank. At the turn, then, it is just Ollie O'Connor out in front by just half a second there. Joshua Zachary in second. George Prince of Hatfield starting to come up into the fray here. He's in third position. Jamie Connaughty in fourth. But it is going to be Joshua Zachary who is really starting to overtake here. Remember that Ollie O'Connor was in front by about half a second at the turn. At the touch, though, at the final 10 metres, it is going to be Joshua Zachary. He's out in front at this moment. Final few metres here at the London Aquatics Centre for him. He touches 2:15.4 to Ollie O'Connor in second, 2:16.20. George Prince in third, 2:18.10. But Joshua Zachary, he managed to pace that race incredibly correctly and obviously had those right tactics. So congratulations to all of those swimmers as that concludes heat number 4. Moving on then to heat number 5, referee. In lane 0, we have Louis Allen of Basildon Phoenix. Lane 1, Alex Harrop of Team Ipswich. Massimo Goriami of Colchester goes in 2. Harrison Shaw of Flitwick in 3. Jack Osborne of Devon in 4. Lane 5 is Isaac Ferrugia of Basildon and Phoenix. Jacob Ray, his teammate, joins him in lane number 6. Lane 7 is Robert Fenner, also of Basildon and Phoenix. Lane 8 is Ben Every of St. Felix School. And Hugo Rabacek-Smith of Hatfield goes in lane number 9. Isaac Ferrugia in first. Alex Harrop in second. Jack Osborne in third. But still all to play for there for the top position. Isaac Ferrugia, he is still in front here. Look at that pace. He's really starting to increase through the water. Alex Harrop, though, of Team Ipswich, not letting him get away too far, but it may be too little too late as they come into their final 15 metres here. But it is going to be touching first. Isaac Ferrugia, 2:10.91. Moving on then to heat number 6, referee. In lane number 0, then we have from the city of Norwich, Ben Buckley. Lane 2, Zach Stacey of Hoddesdon. Lane number 3 is Lucas Hartley of Hatfield. Lane 4 is Rory Wild of Chelmsford. Lane number 5 is Ashton Redhead of Team Ipswich. Lane 6 is Daniel Mayer of Modernian. Newmarket's Noah Mann goes in 7. Jacob Lowe of March in lane 8. Milo Milton of the city of Norwich goes in lane number 9. Looking towards the middle of the pool then, it looks like a strong swim here from Daniel Mayer of Modernian. He's joined on his left-hand side by Ashton Redhead, Rory Wild, Lucas Hartley and Zach Stacey on his left, and on his right, Milo Milton in lane number 9. At the turn then, it's going to be a bit closer. Daniel Mayer in first. Lucas Hartley turns on a 1:03.75 to place second at the turn. Ashton Redhead in third. These boys starting to move away, starting to move into a group here. Lucas Hartley on the outside of Hatfield. He's one lane to the side of these chaps here. But leading the way still just by a fraction is Daniel Mayer of Modernian. He is going to, at the turn then, it's going to be very close. Lucas Hartley takes the lead there. Ashton Redhead in second. Daniel Mayer in third, who now has got the most energy left in the tank to sprint into the final 25 meters here. Lucas Hartley doing very well. He has been on the heat sheet a number of times over this series, doing very well indeed. It's Lucas Hartley now against Ashton Redhead in lane number 5. Who is going to get it as they come to the final touch? It is going to be right on the touch, but it is going to be Lucas Hartley of Hatfield. He takes the win here, 2:11.23. Ashton Redhead in second, 2:12.09. And Daniel Mayer in third with a 2:13.97. Moving on then to heat number 7, referee. Could we please have all swimmers for the 50 metres backstroke? That's the women's 50 metres backstroke. All swimmers to the marshalling area, please. But back to the action in the pool here at the London Aquatics Centre. In lane 0 from Norwich Swan, we have Finlay Arnup. Joe Power of Basildon and Phoenix goes in 1. Sanjiz Chechens of Colchester in 2. In lane 3, Ruben Orty of Team Ipswich. Richard Vanston of Chelmsford goes in 4. Lane number 5 is Colchester's Zach Troman. Lane number 6 is Rio Rogers of Basildon and Phoenix. Ben Howlett of Team Ipswich goes in lane number 7. Ross DeWilt of the City of Cambridge goes in lane 8. And Edward Ormsby for the City of Cambridge in lane number 9. Zach Troman there leading the way, followed by Sanjiz Chechens and Ruben Orty in lane 2 and 3. They are, at this moment in time, neck and neck, it would seem. That's confirmed at the turn. Sanjiz Chechens turning first, just in front, but look at the splits there. Not much in it at all. Around 4 seconds in front of their nearest competitors. Sanjiz Chechens in first at the moment here, but you can see the effort on Zach Troman's face as he's coming down into this final home straight. Ruben Orty dropping into third here, but Colchester look like they're on course for a 1-2 in this heat number 7 as they come into the final 5 metres here. Sanjiz Chechens speeding away there, 2:07.34. Zach Troman in second, 2:08.75, and Ruben Orty in third, 2:08.87. But Sanchez Chechen's, that back end leg, that final 50, helped him to get nearly a second in front of his nearest competitor there. But it is a Colchester 1-2. The confirmed results on your scoreboard now. Moving on then to heat number 8, referee. In lane 0 then we have Benjamin Regular of Deborah. Lane 1, Daniel McGuinness of Basildon and Phoenix. Nedas Tekanono of West Norfolk in 2. Lane number 3 is Tom Wood of Chelmsford. Rowan Brennan of Basildon and Phoenix goes in 4. Daniel Kendall of the City of Ely in 5. Oliver Bright of Hatfield in lane number 6. Lane 7 is Thomas Deaton of Newmarket. Jago Derrington of Bishop Stortford goes in lane 8, and in lane 9, Jack McDonald of Putteridge. But at the turn here then, it's Daniel McGuinness of Basildon and Phoenix over at the top of your screen. 101.50 there. He turns first. Jago Derrington in second. 103.34. A good nearly 2-second gap between him and Daniel. Oliver Bright in third position here, but Daniel McGuinness of Basildon and Phoenix, really that gap between him and the rest of the cohort has substantially grown. Jago Derrington in lane 8 of Bishop Stortford there at the bottom of your screen, bottom left-hand corner. He's trying to catch him up, as is Oliver Blight of Hatfield. Daniel McGuinness, though, turning first. That 2-second gap remains at the turn, if not grown a very, very tiny amount. Jago Derrington still in second. Oliver Blight in third at the moment. But all of these boys, and you can just tell, are so committed to this race here. But it is Daniel McGuinness of Basildon and Phoenix. He had a fantastic start, and that start has helped to ensure that he is going to be the winner of heat number 8 as he comes into the finish. 2:08.60, 2:10.17. That 2-second gap between him and Jago remaining, and Oliver Blight touching third, 2:11.90. Moving on then to heat number 9, referee. Could we also ask all athletes now for the women's 50 metres backstroke, that is the women's 50 metres backstroke, to make their way to the marshalling area, please. Moving on then to heat number 9. In lane 0, we have Ryan Wall of the City of Cambridge. Lane 1 is Samuel Walsh of Witham Dolphins. Lane 2, Matthew Close of Biggleswade. Lane number 3 of Harlow Penguins is Max Arnold. Riley Bashford of Devon goes in 4. George DeVoot of Leighton Buzzard in 5. Joseph Kenny of Leiston in 6. Lane number 7 is Josh Martin of the City of Peterborough. The City of St Albans' Nathaniel Mapley goes in lane 8, and Jamie Joshua of Hatfield goes in lane number 9. But at the start then, after this first 100, at the halfway stage, it is clear who the leader is. It's Nathaniel Mapley of the City of St Albans, 1:26. That's a very fast split indeed for his age. 2nd is Max Arnold, 1:01.01, so not too far behind, 0.80, and these two at the front, Nathaniel Mapley of the City of St Albans and Max Arnold of Harlow Penguins here battling it out. Ryan Wall in lane number 0 of the City of Cambridge. He's had a very busy series here But at the turn then, that gap has closed quite significantly. Nathaniel Mapley, 133.91, 0.05 in it between him and Max Arnold. That was significantly larger at the last turn here, but it does look like Max Arnold of Harlow Penguins is just pulling front. Ryan Wall in lane number 0, he's still in the fray here, but it is a very odd race how this is placed out. But Nathaniel Mapley doing his absolute utmost to try and regain first position here, but no match for Max Arnold, who's storming into that finish. 2:05.75. Nathaniel Mapley 2:07.47, just couldn't hold on to that lead on the last 50, and Ryan Wall there 2:07.56 in third. And that concludes heat number 9 of the men's 200 meters freestyle, with confirmation of those official results on your scoreboards now. As we move on to heat number 10, referee. We are coming towards the, well, we're on the home straight here of the 200 meters freestyle. Just 3 heats to go after this one. In lane 0, we have Ethan Ivelaw Chapman of the City of St Albans. Lane 1, Joseph McRae of the City of Norwich. Alfie Francis of Colchester in 2. Ewan Higgs of Basildon and Phoenix in 3. Lane 4 is Daniel Clayton of Team Ipswich. Lane number 5, Thomas Ball of West Norfolk. Lane 6, Japed Kitching of Chelmsford. Lane number 7, Mark Milburn of Colchester. Lane 8 is Enzo Lim of Watford. And in lane number 9, Matthew Money of the City of Cambridge. But at the halfway stage, it is Enzo. No, it's not. It's Mark Milburn of Colchester. 59.80. That's the first sub 1 minute split we have seen here in the 200 meters freestyle thus far. Daniel Clayton in second, with Ewan Higgs of Basildon and Phoenix in third. But Daniel Clayton of Team Ipswich starting to come on the right-hand side of Mark Milburn. Mark Milburn, no doubt, spotting that, trying to speed up the pace as they come to the final 50 here. Milburn still in first, 1:32.41. Clayton second, Money third. Ethan Ivelaw Chapman of the City of St Albans on the outside in fourth. But returning to the more centrist of the pool, it is still Mark Milburn of Colchester who is leading the way. Daniel Clayton of Team Ipswich coming up right on his left-hand side. But as they come into the final 10 metres here, it's going to be very tight, but I do think Mark Milburn is just going to be able to get this. I may be wrong though, it's going to be on the touch. And Daniel Clayton, what a swim from him, what a final 50-metre leg that was. 2:04.54, taking first. Mark Milburn in second, 2:04.66. And in third is Matthew Money of the City of Cambridge, 2:06.83. And look at those, the official results there on your scoreboards now. As we move on to heat number 11, over to you, referee. In lane 0, we have Jude Hills of Thurrock. Lane number 1 is Elliot Gladwell of Team Ipswich. Lane 3 is Joseph Baby of Newmarket. Lane 4, Matthew Baker of West Suffolk. Lane 5 is Thomas Belcher of Modernian. In 6 is William Ellard of St Felix School. Olivier Vedren goes in lane 7 for the City of Norwich. Nikita Charlinkin of Thurrock goes in 8, and Tobias Oglesby of West Norfolk in 9. But Matthew Baker here in lane number 4, leading the way, 57.14. That is definitely the fastest split of which we have seen here in the water so far this morning. But look at him, he's speeding away here in second position though. It's tightly fought between Joseph Baby in lane number 3 and Olivier Vedren of the City of Norwich in lane number 7. On the outside though, Jude Hills of Thurrock. But Matthew Baker turns first, Olivier Vedren in second, Jude Hills in third, Nikita Charlinkin in fourth here. But leading the way, he's led from the start, is Matthew Baker of West Suffolk. He's going to be aiming for sub 2 minutes. His PB, 2 minutes .79. 2 minutes .79, that's what he's going to be aiming to beat as he comes into his final 5 meters here. Looks like he's on course to go the first sub 2 minutes of the morning, and indeed he does. 1:58.95. Jude Hill gets second, 2:02.89, and Olivier Vedren of the City of Norwich in 7. He gets third, 2:03.22. But there we have it. The sub 2 minute barrier has been broken this morning here, and no doubt it will continue to be broken in the coming heats. And we move on to the penultimate heat of the 200 meters freestyle, heat number 12. Referee. The penultimate heat then in lane 0 from the City of St Albans, Guy Munster. Lane 1, Harry Saunders of Newmarket. Lane 2, Joseph Wells of West Norfolk. Lane 3 is Noah Jameson Neal of Basildon and Phoenix. Callum Wollaston of the City of St Albans goes in 4. Joseph Grice of Leighton Buzzard in 5. Jack Sangster Modernian in 6. Lane 7, Jack Pallant of Team Wavenley. Lane 8 is George Whiteman of the City of Peterborough. And in lane number 9 is Jack Skerry of Newhall. Not much in it at all here. We're possibly seeing Joseph Grice of Leighton Buzzard leading the way here. He's followed very closely by Callum Wollaston of the City of St Albans on his left-hand side, and Jack Sangster and Jack Pallant in lane 6 and 7. But at the turn, then these middle lanes turning near simultaneously. Noah Jameson Neal takes first, Joseph Grice in second, Callum Wollaston coming up to third here with a 58.06. But look at that, those middle lanes really still in contention with each other, pacing very, very well here against each other. Who has the most in the tank on this final 50 metres? We shall see after this turn. But it does look like Callum Wollaston of the City of St Albans, he's taking the lead there, 1:29.24. Jack Pallant in second, Joseph Grice in third, Noah Jameson Neal dropping down to fourth, George Whiteman not far off there in fifth, but Callum Wollaston, he's really starting to make a move for it. His personal best here is a 1:55.90. No doubt trying to beat that. He's going to be coming into the home straight here. What is his time going to be as he comes into his final 5 metres? It is going to be a 2 minutes .14. George Whiteman gets that second position there, 2 minutes .37, and Jack Pallant 2:02.21 there. But Callum Wollaston, what a 200 from him there, really pulling it out of the bag, particularly on that last 75 metres. Without a hat, one must say as well. So congratulations to all those competitors. As we move on to Heat 13, which is the timed final of the men's 12 years and over 200 metres freestyle. In lane 0 from Team Ipswich, it's Joe Cooper. In lane 1 from Basildon and Phoenix, James Spears. In lane 2 from Colchester, Joshua Fowles. In lane number 3 from Team Luton, Matthew Wright. In lane number 4 from West Norfolk, Nathan Wells. In lane number 5 from Hatfield, Michael Klimaszewski. In lane number 6 from Basildon and Phoenix, it's Lewis Binning. In lane number 7 from the City of Norwich, Ben Blowers. In lane number 8 from West Suffolk, it's Miles Turner. And in lane number 9 from the City of St Albans, it's Thomas Cadenhead. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the timed final of the men's 200 meters freestyle. Over to you, referee. All of these chaps going sub 2 minute quite substantially. Many go sub 1:55 here, so they're going to be undoubtedly looking for personal bests. But out in front at the start is Ben Blurs of the City of Norwich in lane number 7. Lewis Binning and Nathan Wells sticking very closely to his right-hand side there. At the turn, though, it's going to be closer than it was earlier on. Ben Blowers in first, Lewis Binning second, Joe Cooper in third, Nathan Wells not far behind in fourth. But this certainly isn't the spearhead one would expect to see in a seeded heat such as this. These chaps obviously understand the importance of this, pacing of each other, racing against each other, having that competition is so important. But coming out now is Nathan Wells coming into his own here. He's going to be turning first. Looking at the scoreboard, then it's Joe Cooper in second, Lewis Binning and Ben Blurs dropping down to third and fourth, but still leading the way is Nathan Wells. But it's a very reputable effort from Joe Cooper of Team Ipswich in lane number 0. Looks like he might actually just be overtaking Nathan Wells of West Norfolk in lane number 4, but still all to play for at the turn. At the turn, then it is Joe Cooper, 126.08. 0.5 behind him, Nathan Wells, Ben Blowers in second, Miles Turner coming up into fourth. But coming into the home straight here, it's looking like a very strong swim from Joe Cooper. Nathan Wells trying to claw back first position here, but it's going to be very tight indeed. Joe Cooper of Team Ipswich, he's aiming for a 155.50, but Nathan Wells here is going to be very tight. But Joe Cooper, he's going to be taking the win here, 155.85. Nathan Wells, 156.93. And in third is Ben Blowers of the City of Norwich, 157.67. But Joe Cooper there, that final 100 really helped to prepare him for that back-end speed in this 200 meters freestyle. And confirmation of those official results there. Nathan Wells tried to hold on, but, you know, I mean, there was a second there. It was always going to be very difficult as we have a look at the replay there. And look at that start, a very strong start from Nathan and Joe in lanes 4 and 0. Look at that, it wasn't too close, well, it was quite close there, but then Joe Cooper turning first on that last 75, Nathan Wells just slightly behind, but that final 50 really helped to secure that win for Joe Cooper of Team Ipswich in lane number 0. As we move the main element and our fantastic technical officials down to the other side of the pool for the 50 meters backstroke for the women. We do move on then to event 412, the women's 12 years and over 50 meters backstroke. This we've swum over 15 heats. Heat number 1, referee. In lane number 3 from the city of St Albans, it's Isla Black. Lane 4 is Amy Whitten of Verulam. And in lane 5 is Olivia Greenall of Great Yarmouth. Olivia looking like she's getting quite strong here. She's in first position here. Very, very tight between her and Amy Whitten, mind you. But there's not much room for pacing in a 50. It's a splash and dash, as some would like to say. Oh, and Amy Whitten gets there right on the touch. My goodness me, that is probably the closest you will see. 0.01. Gosh, that was an incredibly tight swim there, but Amy Whitten just gets it by a fraction. Oh, as we move on to heat number 2. And here it is, heat number 2. Over to you, referee. Looking like a very strong 50 from Holly Underdown. But it is going to be Gabriella Mayer in lane number 2. She's touching first. Sophie Stelmarch in second. Moving on to heat number 3, referee. Moving on then to heat 4, referee. Ellie Smith of the City of Norwich and Sophie Hollis in lane number 1 of the City of St Albans battling it out here, but it does look like Ellie Smith is going to be getting the win here, 34.20. Sophie Hollis in second, and Lucy Carver in third. Moving on to Heat 5, referee. Moving on to Heat 6, referee. This is Heat number 7. Over to you, referee. This heat is firmly in control by Georgina Holgate of the City of Cambridge in lane number 1. She is most definitely going to be touching first here. 31.26. Gracie Comerty in second and Kaiser Cornish in third. Moving swiftly on to Heat 8, referee. A strong swim here from Greta Goddard of the Colchester as she touches first, 31.95, followed by Daisy Manning in second and Olivia Church in third. And we move on to Heat 9, referee. Can I ask that all competitors for the men's 100 meters butterfly make their way to the marshalling area? That's all competitors for the men's 100 meters butterfly to the marshalling area, please. But back to the 50 meters backstroke. It does look like Rosie Brooks and Charlotte Smith of St. Felix and Norwich Swan are battling it out here. Looks like Charlotte Smith is going to get that. Grace Greenhalgh coming on the outside for second, and Victoria Daly touching in third. Into double digits, Heat 10, referee. Up first then is Rebecca Knibb on the top of your screens, but leading the way thus far, it looks like Eloise Cole of Modernian in lane number 5. She's having a very, very strong 50 meters here as they come into the final few strokes now. Final 5 meters here. It is going to be Eloise Cole of Modernians who's well ahead of the rest of the pack, 31.69. Nearly a second behind her is Beth Young in second and Esme Gilbert in third. Moving on to heat number 11, referee. A very fast start there from Amara Addison of Norwich Swan in lane number 1. She is joined at the front of this group by Sophia Pickering of the City of Norwich in lane number 7. It's going to be between these two ladies, but I do think that Amara Addison in lane number 1, she's going to be taking it, 30.79. Sophia Pickering in second, and third goes to Morgan Allen in lane number 4. Moving on to Heat 12. Over to you, referee. can I ask all competitors for the men's 100 meters butterfly to make their way to the marshalling area? That's all competitors for the men's 100 meters butterfly to the marshalling area. Out in front is Hannah Willis of the City of Peterborough and indeed her teammate in lane number 7, Megan Donovan. But it's going to be Hannah Willis of the City of Peterborough. She's going to be taking first here, 30.93. Second goes to Charlotte Williams and Megan Donovan touches in third. Moving on to Heat 13, referee. No distinct leader in this heat. The only one who could possibly is Ellie Wheeler in lane number 8. She's starting to break away as we're going gradually up the pool here, but Ellie Wheeler looking like she's just out in front. It's going to be very, very tight on the touch here. But it is going to be Ellie Wheeler, 32.52. Second goes to Katie Andrews, and third goes to Jessica Shaw. Moving on to the penultimate heat, Heat 14, referee. A fast start there from Abby Lowe of Chelmsford in lane number 4, and that puts her, as she comes out of the water, in first position, in fact, there. She's followed very, very closely by Ella Turner of Basildon and Phoenix, and Jessica Woodward in lane number 2 of Hatfield. But at the moment, it is going to be Abby Lowe and Ella Turner in lanes 4 and 6 who are battling us out here for first position. Abby Lowe looking just in front, with ease, touches with 31.38, Ella Turner in second, 31.59, and Charlie Joyce in third. We move on then to the women's 12 years and over, 50 metres backstroke, timed final. In lane number 0, from Team Ipswich, it's Erin Yeomanson. In lane number 1, from Basildon and Phoenix, Georgina Peace. In lane 2, from Team Luton, Eleanor King. In lane number 3, from Basildon and Phoenix, Grace Waller. In lane 4, from the City of Norwich, Megan Pye. In lane 5, also of the City of Norwich, Sasha Thomas. In lane number 6, from Bishop Stortford, it's Neve James. In lane 7, from the City of Cambridge, Gracie Kay. In lane number 8, from Hatfield, Lauren Stott. And in lane number 9, from Watford, Harriet Clements. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the timed final of the women's 50 metres backstroke. Over to you, referee. the City of Norwich duo, Megan Pye and Sasha Thomas, the only ladies here to go sub 30 seconds. They'll be aiming for that, as will the majority of the others, but it is Sasha Thomas. She's up first. Very, very tight between her and Grace Waller in lane number 3. Not much in it, though, at all between any of these ladies. It is going to be incredibly tight. It looks like Neve James of Bishop Stortford just pulling in front, as could possibly be Grace Waller in lane number 3. Coming back onto the final few strokes here, it's going to be, looking at the scoreboard, Grace Waller, she gets first, Megan Pye gets second, and Neve James gets third. Goodness me, that was close indeed. And confirmation of those results will be on your screen now. And as you can see there by that replay, all of those starts incredibly fast off the wall. Look at that. The pace, the stroke rate was incredibly high from all of those swimmers. And look at how close that was. It was Grace Waller in first, Megan Pye getting second, and Neve James in third, as we wait for our fantastic, wonderful, amazing team of technical officials to come back down to the starting end over here at the diving pit. In the meantime, could I please ask all of the competitors, if there are any remaining competitors, in fact, for the 100 meters butterfly, which is this event, to make their way immediately to the marshalling area. Thank you. We move on then to the final event of this morning's session, event 413, the men's 12 years and over 100 meters butterfly. This will be swum over 12 heats. Heat number 1, referee. In lane 0, we have Jack Short of Brentford. Lane 1, Jack Beer of Linslade. Lane number 2 is Harry Bird of Putteridge. Dis Otters is Elliot Barkway goes in 3. Ben Every of St. Felix School in 4. Lane 5 is Harry Pellan of Basildon and Phoenix. Daniel Dutson of the City of Norwich goes in lane 6. Ashton Blake of Canvey Island goes in lane 7, and Charlie Reus of the City of Peterborough goes in lane number 8. But looking here, as you can see on your screens, and if you're here with us in the London Aquatics Centre, you can see quite evidently in the pool that it is Ben Every of St. Felix School in lane number 4 who is leading the way by miles, quite frankly, particularly on a 100 as he comes into his final 5 meters there. Glides in there with a 1:14.65. That's a significant chunk off his time, so congratulations to him. Second is Harry Bird, and Elliot Barkway is in third. And confirmation of the results for heat number 1 on your screens now. We therefore move on to heat number 2. Over to you, referee. In lane 0 from Morden Shark, Ben Humphreys. Lane 1 is Harry Alexander of Team Ipswich. Roald Schlesser of Colchester goes in 2. Cooper Smith of Harlow Penguins in 3. Lane 4 is Oscar Hunter of Norwich Swan. Lane 5 is Harrison Brook of Colchester. Lane 6, Ethan Thorpe of Basildon and Phoenix. Orlando Deering of the City of Peterborough goes in 7. Adam O'Neill of Modernian in 8. And Amir O'Kane of Thurrock in lane number 9. But as we have seen time and time again, when Orlando Deering is swimming, he usually is in front, and the 100 meters butterfly heat number 2 is no exception. He's going to be aiming for sub 122, which is his personal best here. He's had a fantastic weekend. He's looking a little bit tired now on this butterfly, but still going strong as he comes on to his final 50 meters, final few strokes. Well ahead of the rest of the cohort here. 1:10.2 for a significant chunk off his PB there. Harrison Brook coming in second, Ethan Thorpe in third. Moving on to heat 3, referee. In lane number 0 from Team Ipswich, it's Alex Harrop. Lane 1, Ollie Fenwick of Verulam. Hatfield's Daniel Belzy in lane number 2. Massimo Goriami of Colchester in 3. Jude Gunner of St. Felix School in lane number 4. Lane 5 is James Baker of Brentwood. Lane 6, Jamie Wilson of Wisbech. Lane number 7 is Sean Connolly of Epping Forest. Oshanendu of Thurrock goes in lane 8. And in lane number 9, Dimitris Grabkos of Harlow Penguins. Alex Harrop here, he in lane number 0, he's had a very strong competition. He was leading the way at the turn, but it's a little bit more close as we come through to the final 25 metres here between himself, Jude Gunner and James Baker. It's going to be very tight on the turn here as they come to the final 5 metres. And it is probably just going to be Jude Gunner in lane 4 who gets it. Yes, he does. Alex Harrop in second and James Baker in third. Moving on then to heat number 4, referee. In lane 0, we have Kevin Mahunja of Thurrock. Lane 1, Hugo Rochek Smith of Hatfield. Lane 2 is Robert Fenner of Basildon and Phoenix. Harrison Shaw of Flitwick goes in 3. Kevin Moldovan goes from Harlow Penguins in lane 4. Lane number 5 is Finley Arnott of Norwich Swan. Lane 6, Riley Hall of the City of Cambridge. Marchers, Jacob Lowe goes in 7. Daniel Boyne of Thurrock in 8. And Rory Wild of Chelmsford in lane number 9. And we move on to Heat 5, referee. In lane 0, we have the City of Cambridge's Maximilian Villinger. Lane 1, Patch Robinson of Team Ipswich. Lane 2, Archie Ran of Ware. Lane 3 is Louis Allen of Basildon and Phoenix. Sanjay Chechens of Colchester in 4. Lane 5 is Isaac Ferrugia of Basildon and Phoenix. Lane 6, Marco Yen of Brentford. Oliver Pike of the City of Norwich goes in 7. Lane 8, Daniel Mayer of Modernian. And in lane number 9, Ruben Orty of Team Ipswich. And can I just remind all of those who are on poolside and in the stands that if you are leaving the London Aquatics Centre, whether that be to go for a spot of lunch at M&S, Starbucks, or even maybe a bit more extravagant place, that you leave via the entrance of which you came in. We've been asked by the LAC to just remind swimmers and coaches that they are not allowed to exit via the front entrance, of which is used by members of the public. Thank you. Heat number 6, referee. In lane 0 from Basildon and Phoenix, Rio Rogers. Lane 1, Ethan Howard of Potters Bar. Daniel McGuinness of Basildon and Phoenix goes in 2. Harry Stagg, his teammate, joins in lane 3. Manuka Jacody of Norwich Swan in 4. James Peacock of the City of Peterborough goes in lane 5. Lane 6 is Zach Troman of Colchester. Daniel Kendall of the City of Ely goes in 7. Daniel Pike of Devon goes in 8. And Castle Galandes of the City of Norwich in lane number 9. Moving on to heat number 7, referee. In lane 0, we have William Coleman of St. Ives, Joshua Shepherd of Thurrock goes in 1, Maddox Roberts of Witham Dolphins in 2, Archie Chamberlain of West Suffolk in 3, lane 4, Jamie Joshua of Hatfield, Luke Turnstall of St. Ives in 5, Enzo Lim of Watford in 6, George DeVoot of Leighton Buzzard in lane number 7, Kai Adams in lane 8 of Potter's Bar, and in lane number 9, Tyler Toombs of Chelmsford. And at the finish there, very, very tight between Archie Chamberlain, who just gets the touch, and Maddox Roberts, who's in 2nd. Luke Turnalls in lane number 5. He's going to be touching 3rd. Heat number 8, referee. In lane 0, we have Henry Dean of Thurrock. Lane 1, Daniel Clayton of Team Ipswich. Lane 3, Daniel Monk of Harlow Penguins. Matthew Baker of West Suffolk goes in lane 4. James Cowdery of Basildon and Phoenix in 5. Mark Milburn of Colchester in 6. Lane number 7 is Callum Cox of Bishop Stortford. Louis James of Norwich Swan is in 8. And in lane number 9, Billy Mead of Linslade. Matthew Baker turning first, Louis James in 2nd, and Mark Milburn in 3rd. All of those chaps sub 30 seconds there in the top 5. But leading the way by a significant margin is Matthew Baker of West Suffolk in lane number 4. He really is going for this as he comes to his final 5 meters here, well clear of the rest of the pack. 59.96, what a swim from him, absolutely fantastic stuff. A massive PB for him and the first sub 1 minute of the morning. Heat number 9, referee. In lane 0, we have Daniel Ord. Lane 1, Jensen Hurrell. Lane 2, Joseph Quelch. Lane 3, Joseph Baby. Charlie King in lane number 4. Callum Karani in lane 5. Ben Woodhouse in lane number 6. Lane 7 is Dominic McCarthy. Lane number 8, Joseph Kenny. And in lane 9, Oliver Shedd. But right out in front here after the first 50, it is Joseph Baby, Oliver Shedd in second, Dominic McCarthy in third, Daniel Ord in fourth. All of those chaps, bar 2, going sub 30 seconds there for their first 50 here. But it's looking like that Joseph Baby in 3 is being challenged for this first position by Oliver Shedd in lane number 9, and indeed Dominic McCarthy, who's coming into the fray here. Coming on to the final few strokes, it will be a very tight finish between Dominic McCarthy and Olivier, but Dominic McCarthy gets it. Oliver in second, and Joseph Baby in third. Heat 10, referee. In lane 0, we have Jimmy Taylor of Thurrock. Lane 2 is Jude Hills of Thurrock. Lane 3 is Jack Trahan of the City of Peterborough. Morgan Foster in lane 4. Jack Palance in 5. Miles Turner of West Suffolk in lane 6. In lane number 7 is John Talensky of Harpenden. Robert Addis of West Norfolk goes in 8. And Harry Arthurnaut of Harpenden in lane 9. At the turn then, Jack Palance in first, Miles Turner in second, Jimmy Taylor third. Not much in between himself and Morgan Foster, and indeed John Talensky. But right out in front, it is Jack Palance and Miles Turner who are battling out here for first position, neck and neck at this moment in time. Miles Turner is possibly starting to come in front of Jack in lane number 5. It's all going to be on the touch though. Miles Turner inching in front. And he touches first, 1 minute .52. Jack Palance in second, 1 minute .84. And in third, Zach Trahan of the City of Peterborough with a 1:01.64. Moving on then to the penultimate heat of this session, Heat 11 referee. In 0, we have Freddie Laws. Lane 1, William Ellard. Lane 2, Ewan Higgs. Lane 3 is Damon Elliott. Lane 4, Lewis Chapman. Jack Turnell goes in lane 5. Joseph Bryce in 6. Thomas Page in lane number 7. Lane number 8 is Charlie Barrett. And in lane 9 is Ditchfield Watkins. A very strong swim here from Thomas Page in lane number 7 of West Suffolk. Jack Turnell of Basildon and Phoenix in lane 5, also doing very well here. But it does look like Thomas Page has got the mix right here for a 100 metres butterfly. Final few metres here, it's going to be a bit tighter. And it's going to be Jack Turnell, 59.87. Thomas Page just misses out there, 1 minute .09. And third goes to William Ellard of St. Felix in lane number 1. The final event of this morning's session then, it is going to be a fast and furious one. It is the timed final of the men's 100 metres butterfly. In lane number 0, from the city of Peterborough, Connor Walker. In lane 1, from Hemel Hempstead, Reese Housden. In lane number 2, from West Suffolk, it's Charles White. In lane 3, from Hatfield, Lucas Dyson Diaz. In lane 4, from Hatfield, Michael Klimaszewski. In lane number 5, from the city of Norwich, Harry Jones. In lane number 6, from Basildon and Phoenix, Lewis Binning. In lane number 7, from Bishop Stortford, it's Callum Davis. In lane number 8, from Hemel Hempstead, Devesh Kapoor. And in lane number 9, from Colchester, Nathan Ung. This is your time final of the men's 100 meters butterfly. Over to you, referee. All of these boys go sub 1 minute here. They'll be looking to ensure that that's the case at the start. And Michael Klimaszewski has a fantastic start there. He's joined out in front by Callum Davis in lane number 7 of Bishop Stortford, and indeed Harry Jones of the city of Norwich there. A little bit tighter than one might have expected here. Harry Jones of the city of Norwich doing very well at the turn, and it looks like he's going to be turning first. Michael Klimaszewski does. Harry Jones really hot on his tail there. Lucas Dyson Diaz in third. Up out of the water there, it looks like Michael Klimaszewski is just out in front. Harry Jones trying to catch him back, but Michael Klimaszewski, that backhand speed really helping him. Harry Jones a little bit closer on as they come to the final 15 meters here, but Michael Klimaszewski really starting to fly away from the rest of the pack here. He's coming into his final 5 meters. What is his time going to be? It's going to be a 55.88. Goodness me, Harry Jones there, second place, 57.51, and Lewis Binning takes third with a 58.23. What an exciting race that was as we wait for confirmation of the official results. There they are on your screens now, ladies and gentlemen, as we also prepare to watch the replay of the 100 meters butterfly, the time final there. Look at that. Those starts all very, very strong there, particularly from Michael and Harry Jones in 4 and 5. On that back end though, Michael just was that edge in front, and in the final 25 meters, he just went for it. And look at that, at least a second there. Lewis Binning getting third, fantastic swim from him as well. But ladies and gentlemen, that concludes session number 10 of the Swim England East Region Festival of Swimming. We look forward to welcoming you back for session number 11 very, very shortly. But in the meantime, I'm told that on BBC One, on BBC Sport, the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games closing ceremony will be shown at midday, so perhaps watch that. I know that Team GB have had one of their best performances in recent years with 22 gold medals, I believe. Just looking at my information here. We're fourth at the moment with 65 medals, 22 gold, 21 silver, and 22 bronze. The 20s must be our lucky number. But once again, thank you very much for joining us here at the Festival of Swing. We'll have lots more this afternoon, so stay tuned, and we look forward to welcoming you back very, very shortly indeed.